A quiet morning at an Iranian airbase suddenly turned into a battlefield. Deep inside northwest Iran, engines were being checked. Ground crews were moving quickly, pilots were preparing their aircrafts. While the runway at Tabriz airbase, it looked ready for action. Fighter jets stood lined up, fuel trucks nearby, and technicians making last-minute adjustment. And then everything changed in seconds. Welcome to TimesXP. Well, a sudden strike from the sky. That's why we are going to talk about. According to the Israel Defense Forces, Israeli aircraft launched a very powerful airstrike targeting the base. Moments later, explosions ripped across the runway, fireballs rose into the air, thick black smoke started climbing above the base. The target, according to Israel, were Iran's fighter jets, the legendary F-4 Phantom II and the aging but still dangerous Northrop F-5 Tiger II. Now, these aircraft were reportedly sitting on the ground, being prepared for takeoff. But that is exactly when the strike happened. And yes, it was a direct hit. There was no time to escape at all. Footage released by Israeli sources appears to show the moment missiles slammed into the parked jets. In seconds, the aircraft they are engulfed in flames. Metal fragments scatter across the runway. Here we have one explosion that triggered another, and soon the entire section of base is covered in fire and smoke. Now, for Iran's Air Force, that is not just symbolic, it is tragic. While the F-4 Phantom may be an older fighter, but it still carries heavy strike capability. The F-5 Tiger remains useful for quick responses and interception missions, and together they form part of Iran's layered air defense and attack structure. Destroying them before they even leave the runway, it sends a very clear military message. Here, Israel says that this was not really random, it was calculated. According to Israeli military officials, the strike was a primitive operation. The goal was to weaken Iran's ability to launch air missions and reduce its response capability as tensions spiral across the region. And Tabriz? It is not chosen by accident. The city of Tabriz sits near the key strategic corridors. The airbase over there supports operations covering northern Iran and parts of the Middle East. Here, military analysts say that the facility plays a very important role in Iran's regional defense planning. Taking out aircraft at this base, it could disrupt Iran's operational readiness. But wait, the bigger story is unfolding beyond this single strike, because this particular attack is part of a much wider military campaign. Israel has been targeting Iranian defense forces, their missile launch sites, their radar installation, and their logistics hub. The objective appears to be very simple: reduce Iran's ability to retaliate effectively. And now the skies above the Middle East are becoming more crowded. The US is already deeply involved in this crisis. American forces across the region, not just in the US, they remain on high alert. Warships patrol the key water and fighter jets monitoring the airspace. In the meantime, military bases have tightened the security. Well, at the very same time, Iran has warned that it will not stay silent. Officials in Tehran have vowed retaliation if its military assets continue to be attacked, and that raises fear that the conflict could expand even further, pulling more countries and military bases into the confrontation, which, by the way, means what happened in Tabriz may not be the end. It could simply be the opening chapter of a much larger aerial war. For now, one thing is clear: jets that were supposed to take off, they never left the ground. Instead, they became the last casualties in a rapidly escalating Iran, Israel, and the US war.